else, but not you? Rockin' That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery, located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues! Welcome to Season 10, Episode 8 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We are the often imitated, always regurgitated, rarely fragmented, partially hydrogenated, the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Special thanks to RockinThatIDLife.com and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. It's Tuesday, November 2nd. We hope everyone had a safe and happy and fun Halloween. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. This is franchise episode number 326 all time. To interact with the show, we're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Just do a search for us. You will find us. I'm your host, Kurt Price. My co-host tonight and every night are the rich and connected Jeff Ponder and the dapper and dashing Bill Day. How's that?
Ooh.
Tonight we're talking
We'll go
St.
with
Louis
it.
Blues. St. Louis Blues hockey. How's it going, guys? How was your Halloween?
Good. How about you?
It was fun.
Did you and the kids do anything fun?
We had a good amount of kids on Halloween. Yeah, they went trick-or-treating, and I handed out candy. Yeah, not as many kids as last year, though, at the house. Not quite as many, but still a good number.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We have way too much candy left over, so.
We did too.
Yeah.
We actually didn't have a whole lot left over. It's the first time that's happened here. We bought 2 giant bags full of candy, and we probably only had maybe 10 pieces left. I was actually I do think that we had a couple kids that came through because what we do every year is we have a bonfire in the backyard, and then we put a table out by the gate, and you just have, hey, just grab the candy. I think we had a couple kids come through and grab some pretty giant handfuls, but you know what? Better they eat it than I do. That's the way I see it.
We had about 600 pieces of candy, and we gave a few pieces to each kid, and so and we probably got about half left. So might have had like 100 kids or so, something like that, give or take.
Yeah, we definitely had less than 100, and this first year we had a video doorbell, so I just kind of put everything out in a bowl right by the doorbell camera and was able to watch. And we only saw one group of not even dressed up teenagers come up and grab handfuls and walk away. But
nice.
That's a
like you said.
Tell me a joke, right? If you're not dressed up, tell me a joke. And if you can't even muster a joke, then GTFO.
Get out of here.
No costume.
Yeah.
It's not free candy night. It's you dress up, and in return you get candy. That's the deal. That's the transaction. That's the contract. You don't just show up without a costume on. That's ridiculous. Especially if you're older. If you're older and in a costume like high school, like sophomore, junior, senior, and you're in a costume, that's already toeing the line. You're already too old anyway. But if you got a costume on, I'll give you candy. I don't care how old you are. But if you don't have a costume on, that's a no-go at my house.
Well, go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say, typically it is here, but this was the year of apathy. And saw him on the video camera and like, whatever. We don't want to eat all of this.
That's true. That's a good point. You do want to unload it. We had 2 kids show up day before Halloween.
What?
Yeah, because Edwardsville does trick-or-treating on the night before, and they have the parade the night of Halloween. And I think someone got confused. They were new to the area, and they came to the house a night early. And I was like, what? You guys got it backwards. Good luck getting candy at the other houses because no one's handing out candy tonight in Troy. But
wow, that's weird.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we had fun. We had family over and ate some. I don't know if you guys saw my post on Facebook, but I want to share something that happened on Halloween. We went to Red Robin during the day, out actually in Fenton, and yep, there was a guy there who had a date. His date was a giant blow up pickle, and it had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hat on. And we just saw him sitting there. There was 2 glasses, one in front of the pickle and one in front of the guy. And the wife points it out, and I'm like, I don't. Maybe there's a kid next to him that we're not seeing. So we asked the server. Apparently, this guy brings his date every Halloween and Valentine's Day to this Red Robin, orders food. The pickle always gets pickles, but the guy eats the pickles, not the pickle. So he eats the pickles.
Well, of course not. That would be, cannibalism.
But isn't that a little weird to eat pickles in front of your date that's a pickle? I'd be like, no pickles at all. I don't want him. I don't want her seeing me eating this.
I would have a hard time getting past the pickle as a date. Just for starters, I wouldn't even care what they're eating. That's
a solid point. So yeah, he orders food. Yeah, I clearly orders food for the pickle, and the server told me that he doesn't know if it's like a joke or if this guy's for real. So he's like, I just have to put my game face on and treat it like it's a regular thing. And he pays for the food, no problem, and walks out carrying his pickle. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. I told the wife, I know what we're doing every Halloween and Valentine's Day now, because we have to see. And apparently last Valentine's Day, he had a different pickle with him. So might have been a lover spat going on in February.
That's so weird.
Very
weird. A joke on the customers. Probably telling you a line. We'll see. You'll see next time.
We'll see.
Valentine's Day, I guess, right?
We're going back on Valentine's Day. Yep. We've already said we will.
Okay.
I'll report back then.
All right. On that note, I guess I don't know how to transition out of that to Ponder Cup is less than 3 weeks away, right?
Yeah, you running you're running laps there, Kurt. You doing some heavy morning workouts. What are you doing to prepare?
I'm not doing anything heavy. I'll just do some light stuff. I'm gonna get out and skate a handful of times before, so that'll be my workout. Get some steps in. I plan on coasting the whole tournament anyway.
Well, that's what we all do. None of us know how to skate.
I'm gonna Brett Hull it. I'm gonna just coast around and just float in the open areas and look for a pass.
But you actually have to...
knowing roller hockey and in this leagues in prior year, this tournament in prior years, nobody fucking passes the puck anyway. So if I want to do anything, I gotta keep it myself.
Well, you say you're gonna Brett Hull it. You actually have to score goals to use his name as a verb. I think what you're more looking for is you're going to Brad Winchester it.
Well, I guess Brett Hulling is a little lofty based on the fact I haven't played. That one tournament I had, what did I have? Like 7 goals or something? I was up there a little bit.
Yeah, you've had some.
I did all right.
Yep. We'll see. Should be fun. Yeah, November 20th. Again, I know I showed the Scandella stick last week, but some cool stuff. I got more word today, so if you're in the Facebook group, if not, find it. 7th Annual Stanley Ponder Cup Memorial Tournament. That's where I've been posting all the raffle items. I got word that we got a couple more coming in that are pretty cool. So I'll be posting those as soon as I get more information about it. But yeah, November 20th, everybody, all day, Queenie Park, Midwest Sport Hockey. I think we start at 11. But for more information, go over to dropinstl.com.
I want to say if any of the captains are listening, well, you're Captain Jeff. And
one is.
If Dustin's listening. I don't know. Is Dustin captain this year?
Yeah, Dustin's captain. Greg Hotard listens to the show. He's a captain.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna put this out there and say that if anybody drafts a team full of a bunch of puck hogs and guys that don't pass, I don't want to be on it. You can put me on another team. Don't draft me. Put me. I will pass. Like I'm a pass first guy, but if I'm open. And it's a good scoring chance. I expect to get the puck back too. So it's I want to work as a team. That's what I want to do. So no, this puck hog business. Working as a team.
If you want a team that it basically we found the teams that work best as a team are the ones that lose. You got to have the hot shot that's scoring all the goals.
Yeah, but well, if you have a okay, you're probably right. In a tournament where you don't know,
but hey, I'm
that,
with you.
True.
I prefer
but
the
still,
teamwork aspect, the puck control aspect. I like that
more
much
fun.
better than
it's more fun.
Yeah.
I would much rather be on a team that passes and plays the way you're supposed to, right, and works as a team and loses, than to be on a team that wins and one guy scores all the goals. I don't want that. That's not as much fun.
Well, maybe you'll end up on the same team in the same line as Austin Lynch, who's quite the passer. He's also playing.
I just want to have fun, and working as a team. I will pass. You're open. I got the puck. I will find you. So I would hope that at least somewhat that's reciprocated.
It is. You've just been on the wrong team a couple times. No,
I've been on some great teams.
We have a good team. We have a good time.
I've done some great teams. But you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You puck hogs. You know who you are. Don't deny it.
Greg Hotard. Now, looking forward to it. Bill, hopefully you'll make an appearance.
Yeah, I plan on it. I know I said that the last couple of years and didn't make it out. Last year we had some family stuff going on that prevented me from being there. But this year I will make it a point to be there.
The official beers of episode number 326. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle is at CPrice12. Jeff's is JPonder94. Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Bill, no, Jeff.
How dare you, sir?
What you got?
Tonight I am drinking. First of all, I've been fighting a little bit of a cold, so I've been very tired. So tonight I'm also drinking some Rockin' That ID Life, the mixed berry energy. So this is what's keeping me awake tonight. So keep that in mind too. But I'm also supporting our other great sponsor, Center Ice Brewery. Gonna drinking some of the best damn IPA in all of St. Louis, the Beauty.
I think the Beauty is one of the ones that's going to be shipped all over the state.
It damn well better be. It's one of their best beers.
I think it's probably one of the more popular ones. I would imagine that an Old Arena Lager, I guess, get a variation, your standard staple lager and then your IPA. I would guess.
Yep.
That's just me talking.
Those are two that are more popular and two of the better ones too. So I would think so. Before we get to Bill, I want to get to some comments about the Ponder Cup that Austin Lynch threw out here. Shit, that's in 3 weeks. Oh, God, I need to get skating. Yes, you do, Austin. Get yourself on some skates. And he also says, when are the teams announced? Austin, that will happen. We're doing the draft. Unfortunately, a couple of us are very busy the weekend before. That's typically when we do it, but a couple of us are out of town, including me. So we're actually going to do it the Thursday before. So we will have teams announced Thursday night into Friday morning when the teams will be announced. Bill, beer of the episode.
You're muted, Bill.
Bill, we lost you.
Sorry. Gidget decided she wanted a monologue, and I told her she's not part of the show, so had to mute it. I have a beauty of a can, not a beauty of a beer. Well, it's a beauty of a beer. It's just not the beauty like Jeff has. But I have Surly's 15th anniversary ale. Surly 15 is a Grand Cru ale, barrel aged. 10.3% alcohol by volume. Definitely another sipper. Not something that you're going to pound a whole bunch of, but it is. It's quite good. Found a few barrel aged selections from Surly at Friar Tuck a couple weeks ago and picked them up and haven't been disappointed.
I am cleaning out the fridge. So I've got a summer Land Shark lager from Margarita Brewing Company in St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm supporting local. I don't think many people know this is from St. Louis. So
it's an AB product.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. It's funny they call it
Yeah.
Margaritaville Brewing Company. I guess that's just AB.
Jimmy Buffett sold out to them several years back.
Yeah,
Pretty sure I've
sure
told the land
well.
shark story on the show before. The crazy guy. Anytime you'd say land shark, he would do this.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe you have. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can't not think of that now every time I see one of those.
I like Land Shark. It's one of those beers that I don't have that often, but when I do, I like it. I mean, for summer, it is an island style lager. It's pretty good. Today in Blues history, courtesy of the STL Blues History Twitter account, as the Stars and Jets go into a shootout. I guess the Stars are up 1-0 here in the shootout. Yeah,
it's 1-1 from what I can see.
1-1 now.
Yeah, we timed it before. I'm 10 seconds ahead of Jeff and probably 2 minutes ahead of you.
Okay, I've got 1-1 now. I've got 1-1. Sorry.
Yeah.
That
right.
just made it 1-1. Okay. Anyway, November 2nd, 2021 is today's date. Nothing notable was posted today last time I checked, unless he posted something last minute.
Nope. So I think what we need to do is we need to change the segment to yesterday in Blues history.
Today, so for today's show, yesterday in Blues history, November 1st, 2003, the St. Louis Blues unveiled the statue for Bernie Federico. Bernie requested his jersey on the statue have an A instead of a C, and for it to have the number 8 patch. So that's pretty cool.
Can I ask why that is? It's because his best seasons when he was an A?
Well, I would guess that, and that'd been a great question to ask him when he was on the show. But
if somebody would have had him on a podcast, you think they would have asked him that?
Well, if someone had done their research before they had him on the show.
I know.
I'm guessing. When I first read this, I assumed it meant that when he wore the A, that's one of the jerseys he had that had the 8 patch on it. When he was the C, it did not have the 8 patch on it. So he wanted the 8 patch to be on the statue. So that's why he went with the A. That would be my guess.
So he's historically accurate. I like that.
That's my guess. If his jersey is not historically accurate on the statue, that's a problem to me.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
For jersey fanatics, I think that'd be a big problem. So,
yep, that'd be a problem for me too.
Yep.
So I know STL Blues history would have had an aneurysm.
Yeah, right. Put it in the media guide. The statue has the wrong jersey. Call Bruce Affleck.
That's right.
November 1st, 1967. Bob Plager scored his first NHL goal. Al Arbor scored his first Blues goal. And Glenn Hall recorded his first Blues win as the St. Louis Blues beat the Boston Bruins 5-1.
Yeah, did you know on that Bob Plager goal, it happened because Brad Marchand stopped skating at center ice.
Every big goal of Blues history, right? Every big goal of Blues history is the result of Brad Marchand not Hasling and going for an inopportune line change.
Yep.
As much as everyone hates Brad Marchand, Blues fans should love the guy because that may have won the Blues the cup. I mean, that was a
deflating goal for the Bruins.
Oh yeah, I mean, going up 2-0 when you've been outplayed in the period. Oh my god, in the first, being down 1-0 when you're outplayed, that's not as big of a deal. But shoosh. November 1st, 1969. Red Berenson had a hat trick. Frank St. Marseille had 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists. Jacques Blount recorded his 70th career shutout in the St. Louis Blues 8-0 win versus the Philadelphia Flyers. Back in the day when the Blues dominated the Flyers before decades of ineptness in Philadelphia.
I also will add that November 1st, 1969 was the day that my parents were married. And I have actually heard from my mom that there was reports of my father being pissed off that he was I don't know if he had tickets to the game or if it was televised, but he was mad that he was missing the game.
It was in St. Louis, right? Yeah, I guess so.
I think it was. So yeah, I'm guessing he had tickets and he had to pass them on. So he was pretty mad. But hey, you know what? You got to marry my mom and eventually have me, so it all worked out in the end.
In the end.
In the end.
That's not how you have babies. November 1st, 1977. Inge Hammerstrom traded to the St. Louis Blues by the Toronto Maple Leafs for Jerry Butler. Gary Unger recorded a hat trick, his 9th career hat trick, and let's see, 1970. I got this. This is weird. In the St. Louis Blues 7-2 win versus LA. This was the Blues' first win in 10 games to start the season. They started 0-8-1, which is kind of like the Blackhawks' ineptness to start this season.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're pretty terrible. Hopefully, they weren't accused of any sexual assault scandals. Sorry.
I think back then it would have been probably a lot easier to keep that concealed and probably more excused and accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't have been a thing. I mean, no. Unfortunately. How times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
We will get into the Blues last couple games after these words from ID Life.
It's safe to say that the Burn Box from RockinThatIDLife.com provides you with the sugar bustinest, muscle buildingest, mood enhancingest, focus inducingest, energy boostingest, hootinest, shootinest experience. You not only get the excellent product, but you get recipes, menu options, a tracker, and program guide to assist you along your self-betterment journey. Based on your goals, you can double up on Slim Plus or Energy, or you can get one of each. With flavors such as mixed berry, tropical fruit, and orange, the Burn Box lets you enjoy the weight loss or muscle gain journey along the way. Become a VIP with RockinThatIDLife.com and place your Burn Box on subscription and you'll save 20%. And as always, text
the roughest, toughest He-Man, stuffest hombre has ever crossed the Rio Grande
and our friend Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order.
Now all of you skunks, clear out of here.
And go over to RockinThatIDLife.com.
Keith Price in the YouTube chat says Kurt will add it. He's referring to the Ponder Cup tournament, which, yes, I always add it. That's
so you'll have an empty net and then you'll still try to pass it?
That's Craig Janney. That's not Adam Oates.
Oates did it a little too.
Janney would do a drop behind the back pass on a breakaway and have it picked off by the trailing defender.
That's possible.
I would not do that. No. So and he also says,
well, there's a couple different comments in there.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let's get to Matt Harris. Because he says, hope we're having a good night tonight, gents. Yes, I think we all are. Matt Harris also adds November 2nd, 2021 for his day in Blues history. 25 days until I go to my first hockey game ever. Jackets versus the Blues. Matt, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to lower my volume a little because my wife is right upstairs. That is her birthday present. I will be taking her to that game. She doesn't know yet. So let me know where you're sitting. Love to meet up with you and, give you, well, I don't know, handshakes are still acceptable, but love to meet you. So Jackets and Blues should be a good one.
So you're going to...
Wasn't sure what the word was going to be after hand there.
Whatever Matt wants.
First game.
That's exciting.
Do, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Get your first game puck like they give to kids. Go down to the guest services section.
Austin Lynch says, on an unrelated note, the Atlanta Braves are about to beat the cheating Astros and win the World Series. It was 5-0 last time I checked, so I'm not sure what the score is now, but yeah.
I love it. I'm very happy to see that.
Great. I don't care.
I don't care either. My daughter asked me, who do you want to win? I'm like, I don't like either team, to be honest. I don't like, Atlanta. I don't like Georgia right now, to be honest. But I don't like the Astros for their history, so whatever.
I would prefer the the Braves over the Astros at this point. It's the lesser of two evils, is the way I look at it. It was like the Hillary versus Donald Trump thing. It was okay. I just want the lesser devil to win this one.
Speaking of which, Trump was at the game of the night doing the chop. Does that change your mind?
Yeah. So okay. So I was teaching my son the chop earlier, and my wife came in and she goes,
Really?
"You can't do that anymore." And I go, "We're Native American. It's okay. We're allowed to."
Oh, okay.
That's not technically true, but the whole crowd was doing it. Yep, I definitely am, but that's okay.
All right. So the Blues last Thursday, they lost to Colorado 4-3. The tables were turned for that game between St. Louis and Colorado compared to the first meeting between the two. In the first game, Colorado was without a couple of their top players, and in this game, the Blues were without a couple of theirs. 2/3 of their top line, O'Reilly and Saad, did not play in this game due to COVID protocol.
And how about that? The fact that they're without 2/3 of their top line, and all of a sudden they couldn't score goals.
Yeah, go figure. Right.
Yeah,
but they did score 3. But the Avs outplayed the Blues for much of this game, at times badly. Early on, Falk fights Kadri, which was a surprise to me because of Shen fighting Kadri in the first game, thinking, okay, there's some of the payback, and I loved it. I loved this that Falk, the guy who Kadri hit in the playoffs last year and got suspended, the dirty play. I'm glad. I love the fact that he went after him, and so that was great, and it also sends a message that we're not letting this go. And what I want to know is, where was this attitude when Stone hit Bozak last season?
Yep, that was my first thought too.
I love this. I love protecting your players. Standing up for your guys. But they did not do that last season.
They did fight him that game.
Falk fought him.
Falk came and fought him.
Tried to.
But I would have loved, and we were saying this at the time, the next time they played Vegas, let's see somebody fucking light him up into the boards.
Kadri got
relentless.
Kadri's had to fight twice against the Blues this season, and Binnington took a swing at his head. So, I mean, I'm all about it. I'm all about giving him shit. He's a dirty ass anyway. So I don't think anybody in the league really cares if you go after Kadri.
No.
So.
Right. And Stone's got this reputation now as he's the captain of Vegas, and he's just a stand-up, good old Canadian hockey boy. But yeah, that incident. I mean, hitting Bozak, who's completely unsuspecting in center ice on a nothing play. That was just dirty as it comes, and definitely think that most of Blues Nation doesn't feel like that there's been apt retribution for that just yet.
No. And I'll say too, judging from now, granted, fans on social media, we all know how they can be, but seeing some of the fans in LA and Anaheim and San Jose, teams that play the Vegas Golden Knights a lot, have been saying for the last about year now that Mark Stone is not the clean player that people think he is. That he's always been, he's always getting praise as being this guy who doesn't take penalties. But from what I've seen from other fans, when Blues fans were pissed off about what happened, other fans from other teams were like, yeah, he's been doing this, but the league just doesn't notice it.
Despite being outplayed, Parayko scored first for the Blues, putting the Blues up 1-0. Slap shot that leaked through Kemper. Not a good goal to give up. I don't think anybody's I'm shocked he allowed this goal, actually. Saw it the whole way. Didn't look to be touched, deflected. And it just went through his pads, 5-hole. He just missed it. So they'll take it. I think it was mentioned on social media that those are the kinds of shots that Blues fans and critics have been screaming at him to just take shots. Take shots. You
Mm-hmm.
never know what's going to go in, and he's got the shot. Take it.
Yep, he's got the ability to overpower goalies, and every once in a while, a goalie's going to give up a leaker, and that's exactly what that was. That is a textbook leaker of a goal. So yeah, Colton, learn from that and keep doing it, buddy.
And what I thought of, the first thing I thought of when Kemper allowed that goal was that, Kemper's having a rough start to the season. He wasn't playing well to that point. Then he allows that goal when his team had handily outplayed the Blues so far in that game. And that's the kind of shit that's deflating to a team.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to affect Colorado that much, in the game. So, but it didn't matter. But man, when you're outplaying your opponent and your goalie allows the first goal of the game and it's a leaker, woof, that's a head dropping for some teams.
Yeah, the Blues had that a lot with their last starter. I can't remember his name, though, who the last starter before Bennington was. I can't remember who it was.
Ig Jalen.
That's it.
Ig Jalen.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to toot our own show's horn too much, but in our season preview show, it was talked about how Kemper is kind of, a lot of the national media just assuming Kemper is going to be great in Colorado. I'm like, oh man, change the scenery with goalies. You never know. I mean, you gotta, and plus he had never won anything. I mean, he was played well in Arizona, but he's never won anything.
Right.
So,
right.
You can't just give it. You can't just hand him first place. I mean, he's got to prove it.
Right. And going into Denver, I mean, the altitude, you don't know how any player's going to adjust, let alone a goalie. Maybe it's not as taxing as skating up and down the ice every shift, but it's got to be something. And I don't know, I just assuming somebody's going to come in and be just fine. I agree. I think it was a bit of a stretch.
And I think I was a little annoyed by that because Bennington was, underrated, I thought, by a lot of the media. They're writing him off as he's not that great. He's kind of come down to earth since his first year, and then they were just willing to give Kemper, without any any playing experience in Colorado at all, a free pass to first place in the conference and Stanley Cup favorite. That was weird to me. It's weird what some critics tend to overlook. But he is 4-3 right now with a 2.87 goals against average and a .904 save percentage. So currently the worst numbers of his career. And 2 of the last 3 games, he's been much better though. So in wins versus Vegas and Minnesota. So maybe he's coming around a little bit. So we'll see. It's still really early in the season still. So small sample size. JT Compher scored the next 2 goals for Colorado to put them up 2-1. First goal, they moved the puck around nicely, getting St. Louis out of position a bit. Unable to block the shot from the point. And Compher had a beautiful redirection by Bennington on this play, which, I mean, this reminded me of my goal in one of the Pounder Cup tournaments. It was I'm not kidding. It was identical. Shot from the point. I'm in the slot. I direct it hard down, bounces off the rink, and goes up. His went under Bennington's arm, but mine went upper corner. So mine was a little better. But
well, I hear he's been watching Kirk Price game tape, so that's not surprising.
I mean, can you imagine being in the
8
slot?
hours of it on YouTube.
Maybe somebody can analyze me. You're deflecting it straight down in the slot, hit the rink, then bounce up and go upper corner. How do you stop that shot? Can't. Unstoppable. And of course, it is Kadri who scores next for Colorado, putting them up 3-1 after a turnover by Neighbors at the Colorado blue line. The Avs transitioned pretty quick, catching the Blues in a change, and he had a clean break on the wing where he beats Bennington near post. Looked like Bennington was off his angle a bit there, giving him too much near post, I thought.
I agree.
And I'm sure, Bill, would you agree with that? I mean, as far as that goal goes?
Yeah. Yeah, he could have been out. I thought a little bit higher. I think the speed of the transition there backed everybody off, including Bennington, and yeah, he definitely didn't have the angle right on it, and just that one of those goals that he seemed to let in a lot over the last 2 seasons. But yeah, I mean, one of those moments when, Darren Payne got to, clutch the pearls and talk about how Jake Neighbors had to get that puck deep and he didn't. And,
Yeah.
The transition game killed us.
I will say that I actually agreed with Darren Payne 100% there.
Oh yeah.
We've bitched about it on this
too.
show that he's can be a little bit too hard on the younger players versus the veteran players, giving them a pass. This was a situation where the minute it happened, I go, God damn it, Neighbors, what are you doing? Because it's like that is a hockey 101. That's not just an NHL thing. That's any league you play in. First job when you're doing a line change is to get the puck deep. And he did not do that. And it led to a good transition for Colorado.
Yep. Blues were changing. And so, I mean, it's got to get deep. He's got to recognize that. But, and let's be honest here. This mistake happens. It happens. It's not uncommon. And it happens to rookies. It happens to veterans who try to make a move, skilled players who try to make a move and get it poked away and then go back the other way. I guess the difference in this case is that the Blues were actually changing. So that's a case where it has to get deep because they come back the other way too quick and they have a break, which they did. But with Neighbors being young, I'm sure he got chewed out on the bench for it. And he was also suddenly scratched the next game against Chicago. So
and you know what? I know Berube said in practice the next day that, or whenever that was, I think maybe it was Saturday morning, that he was doing it not because of anything. He just wanted to extend the 9 game. I do wonder, because we'll never know. I do wonder if that was the plan. If it was, let's go ahead and sit him against the lesser team and and that way we can extend his 9-game trial.
I mean, maybe, but I think an interesting angle would be to not scratch him against a softer team and let him maybe have a good game against them, and that gets his confidence even higher. So,
to me, I think it was calculated. Right, they were going to wait until he had his first bad game, and the Colorado game was his first bad game. I mean that glaring mistake. He didn't have a bad game. Right. Everybody had a bad game, but he got called out for it because of the glaring turnover. It was a bad glaring failure to get it deep, right? So I think that was the plan all along. Was wait, he has a bad game, reset him, put him in the press box, let him see from a different angle. And I think honestly, Jeff and I were talking about this before the show. I think that was actually one of the points that not friend of the show, Jamie Rivers, was making on that segment on ESPN radio that I heard.
Enemy of the show.
Right. Will we call him an enemy of the show? But yeah. So, and I thought
warrior of the show.
Right. I agreed. I agreed with the point. It's like, he actually said he probably, I think he said he probably would have kept him in and not made the decision to pull him out. And I agree. I think you want him, especially in a rivalry game Saturday night against your classic rival. You want to give him the chance to bounce back. And especially when the team's going through issues with players being out because of COVID and that.
To play devil's advocate, maybe the coaches want to see him against the best of the best. Right now, Chicago is not the best. They want to see him against teams that are actually battling for, I don't want to say a playoff spot this early in the season, but battling for supremacy. At that point, Chicago had not won a game yet. So again, I'm not saying either way. I could see both sides of it, both arguments, but maybe that's part of it. Maybe it was, hey, Blackhawks are fucking terrible right now. We could roll out our AHL team and beat them. Let's give Jake the night off. Let him, kind of see the game from the press box, and we'll insert him the game after that.
Yeah, okay. But Neighbors, there's a good chance Neighbors is an AHL player this season. I mean, it's a good chance he doesn't exist past the 9 games.
But he's not AHL. He's going back to juniors.
Yeah,
right. Well, that's what I mean.
Right.
I mean, you get my point.
Not an NHLer, right?
Okay,
That's what you meant.
Yeah, right. Not a
but I do think overall, I mostly would agree that it was what Bill said. He made a mistake. First glaring mistake he's really made in the NHL. Give him the night off, make him think about it, and then see how he reacts on Wednesday.
Let's be honest. I mean, let's pick out a guy who's having a very good season so far. Tarasenko, he's made more than one glaring mistake. He's made more mistakes than Neighbors has. So I mean,
for sure, those first 2 games he was awful.
Yeah, he's made. I mean, I discussed it on the show as far as, and I talked about it on Twitter about he was a lot of turnovers, a lot of lazy play, and defensive responsibilities weren't there. Now he was getting shots and opportunities offensively. So that's the trade-off. And it's always been the trade-off with Tarasenko. He's never been the best. I mean, there'll be times when he works hard, makes a dazzling defensive play or a nice block or something. But a lot of times he's just not, constantly thinking about defense and whatnot. So I think, there are a lot of guys. I think Neighbors has been better than most players on this team this season as far as just not necessarily production-wise. But he's looked good out there. And I don't think, I get it. As a kid, you traditionally you bench a kid for his mistake just so he learns from it. It's like old school mentality, whatever. If that was the case.
Matt MLO12, who I don't think we've seen before in the YouTube chat, he says he's going to go back to juniors when Sonny comes back. At least I think that's kind of the case. I'm thinking they're going to extend that 9 game as much as they can, and then when Sonny's back, I think that's the roster spot he gets. But
depends
you also have salary cap to worry about then too.
Salary cap, COVID, injuries, and you got Clifford. That Clifford could go too. When Sundqvist comes back, I wouldn't be against Clifford leaving at all. I don't think he has a place on this team anymore at all.
Especially with Neil here. I think once they signed Neil, they really didn't need Clifford anymore.
Or Neil, or get rid of Neil. And Neil's almost free this season though. The salary he doesn't cost us much at all.
Yeah.
So
right, and as it's going right now, man, the guy is playing his ass off. Right, I expected 3 games and he would drop off. That seemed to happen in Edmonton and Calgary beginning of the season. But man, he was busting his ass in that Chicago game.
Yeah, he was one of the best Blues skaters.
Yeah, Clifford makes $1 million. So that's $250K more than James Neal.
I think just numbers alone, he's the one that's got to go.
Numbers alone and productivity. I think Neal brings more. Not that Neal brings a lot, but I think he's been fine. And Clifford is just, I don't want to say useless, but he doesn't do a lot anymore. There's not a role for him on this team necessarily.
Yep, I agree. I want to add with this game before we get into anything else with this game or the next game, whatever we're about to talk to. Shots in that game I mentioned last week. I want to see some less shots against. 42-18 for the Avalanche. So, Kurt, you mentioned early on talking about this that the Blues were badly outplayed at times. Yes, 14 shots in the first, 16 in the second, 12 in the third. Completely dominated in this game. If it's not for Jordan Binnington, I think this is a 7-3, 6-3 loss. If the Blues even put up that much, if they're getting shelled that bad. So it was a bad game for the Blues that was kind of silenced a bit by the good goaltending. But yes, I know they're having issues with COVID and all that, but at this point, Ryan O'Reilly's your only guy out. That was just a not a very good effort compared to what we've seen from the rest of the season.
Sod was out too.
Sod too. Yes, sorry.
Yep. So after Kadri scores, then we got the stick swinging incident that happened at the end of the second period, with about a minute to go. So very late in the second period, the Avs shoot the puck into and the Blues dislodge net. So play stops. Then O'Connor. A lot of people online thought that the fight was about, or the pushing and shoving match was about the shot in the open net. It wasn't. That was not what. That's not what the issue was at all. The O'Connor cross checks Wallman pretty good after the whistle in front of the net. So that causes a bit of a Donnybrook where Binnington got involved in a melee in the corner with some pretty good pushing and shoving. A bunch of guys came together. Then Binnington skates away, goes over the puck and flips the puck to Kemper at center, who catches it, which I thought was funny. Then he skated towards Kadri and kind of just waved his stick or swung his stick towards Kadri's head, missed him by like 2 or 3 feet, and then skates away. So let's talk about this for a second, because this was huge on social media, as you expected. Anything Binnington does out of the norm, social media lights up. Your thoughts on? Okay, because I was perfectly fine with all of it up until the stick swinging.
Yes,
anyone who says there was intent to injure here, or they're outraged because he almost hit Kadri in the head and they're calling for a lengthy suspension, is goofy. That didn't happen. It was a stupid attempt at intimidation, I guess. I think that's what it was. There was no intent to actually hit him. So it's a stupid thing to do, but let's call it what it is. It was not an intent to injure. It was a stupid attempt at intimidation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, and I didn't like it. I thought it was unnecessary. It was dumb. It was just a bad look. What are you doing? It doesn't, I don't know. You're just getting in trouble for doing that. There's no, go up to him and shove him, get in his face and start yelling at him.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
And honestly, even the fake punch last year, that didn't bother me. Anytime that you even like jokingly or, antagonistically use your stick as a weapon, I don't like that. So yeah, I'm 100% with you. I thought that was a little much. To me, I read it. If you read the body language when they show, because they had that one replay where you just saw Binnington's arm and his stick go swinging across.
You didn't see how close
that was
it got,
the first replay anyone saw and was like, "Oh my god!" But then you saw he was actually like 4 feet away, and it was like, "Well, okay, that wasn't." To me, I read that as get the fuck out of here. Like get out of here. I don't want to talk to you, kind of thing. But yes, and you and I don't know if you said it, but Binnington did come out and say he doesn't condone that, which I was happy to see, because I don't want to see kids doing that in games, or fucking men's league, because I see it plenty still. But yeah, it's that was stupid. I don't like that one bit. But yeah, the flipping the puck at Kemper, I'm all for that
funny.
shit.
That was
getting involved in the scrum, I'm all for it. And again, I know the Blues ended up losing this game and still didn't play that great in the third period. But what did they do, right? Kind of early in the third, scored a fucking goal. They played a little better to open that third period. I'm not saying it's directly because of Binnington, but we've seen this team respond well when Binnington's done this kind of stuff. So it's calculated. It's intentional. He's doing this to get his team fired up. And that's what a good leader does. So anyone who's pissed about it, either you're not a Blues fan, or I'm sorry, maybe you've just never stepped foot on the rink, which is fine. But just know that when you have a guy that's fiery like that, it's a motivator. It's something you want to see out of your teammate.
It's mostly, I would guess, it's mostly newer generation fans. It's not guys who've been fans for 30 years. I don't, or 30, 40 years. It's not. Tell
that to Hockey Bob.
Well, there are exceptions. There are exceptions. But I mean, if people remember the days of Patrick Waugh, Hextall, a number of goalies, they would. What's his name in New York? Billy Smith. They would. They were aggressive. They'd start fights. It was a different era in hockey, but still, it's not like what Binnington's doing is unprecedented and is jaw dropping and awful. If a forward does it, stick swinging aside, we've already said that's bad. But if a forward or defenseman does what he's been doing, get in someone's face and chew them out or shove them or whatever, which is basically what people are upset about, It's a non-issue. Why? Because if it's a goalie, why is it a big deal? Because you can't touch a goalie. I don't. Yeah, whatever. Goalies in the past, it was a thing in hockey for the longest time for goalies to get involved. At least some goalies get involved. I don't see the outrage that a lot of people are seeing with what he does, and we've talked about this before, where it's just kind of weird that people get off on their tangents and they can't accept what he's doing, which is really, if you look at it in the big picture that is NHL hockey history, this is not a big deal.
No, and you list the goalies off there: Billy Smith, Ron Hextall, Patrick Waugh. I put him in the league there with Patrick Waugh in terms of it being more a mind game. Hextall and Smith, they actually wanted to hurt people.
That's true.
Patrick Waugh
That's
Patrick Waugh wanted to get your head. And you go back to the wink on Thomas Sandstrom, one of the probably it's actually my most used GIF as a response to things on Twitter. So it's such a lovely moment. The comment to Jeremy Roenick, which Pat Maroon ripped off for the Car Shield commercial about Stanley Cup rings plugging my ears. It was about the mind games, and I think that's exactly what it was. The stick swinging, and I think to an extent it was him reading the room, right? Because you have these two rookie refs that cannot control the game, and at that point it was kind of getting out of hand. They're not going to toss a goalie for just throwing a stick up in the air. He didn't.
Did you see what they did though?
To him.
They came out. Did you see they skated over to him and said, and you could I'll paraphrase.
Right.
They're like, "Dude, you can't fucking do that."
Right. And I'm sure he was like, "But what are you gonna fucking do about it?" Whereas if it was Wes McCauley or Kevin Rooney or somebody like that, they'd probably be like, "You got 10, bud." That's not happening in my game.
They could have gave him misconduct for that. They could have easily.
Right. Right. I don't know. I just don't think two rookie refs like that were going to do it, and he knew it.
I don't either.
That's why he did it.
They refed a terrible game. That was
terrible.
Yeah.
One of the worst ref games I've seen all season.
Yeah.
Right. It was shocking to me that they gave that two rookie refs that game. Right.
Yeah.
And
made no sense. And
when the broadcast crew is calling out that the linesmen are telling the refs that you need to get a control of this game, that was pretty telling, I thought. But yeah, it was a horribly handled, horribly officiated, at least by the guys with the orange stripes.
Yeah, you give two rookie refs a Blues Sabres game. You don't give them a team. Because, again, this was ending a 65-game streak where the Blues played the same 7 teams. So there's going to be some animosity there. It was just crazy they gave that to two rookie refs.
So after the Bennington incident, which happened right at the end of the second period, the Blues did outscore Colorado 2-1 in the third. Sheen scored in the third to cut the lead to 3-2. Kyrou mishandled a puck on the left side to Kemper's right after a faceoff win, but then spins around and fires a beautiful blind backhand pass over to Sheen backdoor for the one-timer past Kemper. And this next goal, I mean, granted that the Blues were outplayed in this game, and there were a lot of things that the Blues did poorly, and Colorado came at them. But this right here was the game. I mean, it's the game winner, but so it might go without saying, but Makar scored. It was less than a minute after Sheen scored, so it took momentum away and restored the 2-goal lead. And it was the game winner. But also a number of things went wrong here, and I want to kind of break this down a bit because when I went back on the replay and I looked at it and I looked, okay, who's supposed to be doing what, who's where, who messed up on this goal, why wasn't it cleared? So Scandella had the start of where the issues happened. Scandella has the puck near boards, between the circle and the near boards, tries to bank it off the boards out. He has plenty of time. And he doesn't get enough on it. It's held in at the point by McKinnon. He kind of blocks it, chips into the zone past Thomas and Tarasenko, who are heading out of the zone, going the other direction. On the clearing pass, instead of taking the body and taking McKinnon's body at the point, Tarasenko waves at the puck, trying to bat it out of the zone at the blue line. So he misses and skates by McKinnon, who knocked it down and went back into the zone. McKinnon got to the puck in the near corner, stops. Parayko, who was on him, badly over pursues, and as McKinnon cuts back, which gives McKinnon a clear passing lane to Makar at the high slot, who let a wrist shot go using Barbashev as a screen. Bennington is leaning to Barbashev's left, but the shot goes through Barbashev's legs, who really needed him to get a piece of that and block it because he's screening Bennington otherwise. And it beats Bennington under his blocker, who can't react in time. And the failure to clear, so after the failure to clear, the 5 or 6 seconds go by before the goal is scored. Only Tarasenko at the near point looked to see where Makar was. So all the other Blues players were staring at McKinnon for 5 seconds plus. And Barbashev was too deep in the zone, standing in the slot, leaving Makar wide open at the high slot. And I think this is what people refer to when it's they say situational awareness. Barbashev didn't have it here. He had no idea where Makar was. That's his man. Was off him too far. And then so he receives the pass, is able to get the shot away. Bennington can't see it because it's and partially his fault too, because he didn't pick up the shot through the screen. Maybe a shot he should have had. So lots of mistakes in this play, I thought. Starting with Scandelia's failure to clear in the zone when he had time. Which, how many times we talk about it? You don't get the puck out, and bad things happen. It's like, fuck. And that was the game.
You don't clear the puck out, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yep. Absolutely. And if that was Nico Mikkola making that play, he doesn't play another 5 games, right?
No.
Going back to our point on Jake Neighbors, right? You don't you have that much time to get that puck out. But yeah, I mean that the play by McKinnon on Parayko, I mean, he totally had Parayko convinced that he was cutting behind the net, because Parayko was at full speed when McKinnon put on the brakes and had all the time in the world to find Makar up top. I mean, that it was a world-class play, and this is, I thought, another situation where having O'Reilly in the lineup might have helped, but that happened so quickly. The McKinnon play on Parayko. I don't know that there's a whole lot of offensive forwards in the league that are going to help to shut that thing down. It was a calamity of errors.
I think if Barbashev is aware of where Makar is, he's not so deep into the zone, because Barbashev's covering nobody. There's nobody there. He's not covering anybody. He should have been higher out to take away the pass to Makar. I mean, yeah, it did happen very fast. And also, we want Parayko to be the number 1 defenseman, right? You can't over pursue on McKinnon there. He can't. I'm not sure what he was. I mean, let McKinnon go into the corner. I don't care. That's fine. Don't let him cut back and come back the other way. If he wants to beat you to the corner, beat him. Let him get to the corner first. Stay between him and the goal. Right. But so.
Right. You talk about situational awareness. Where does Nathan McKinnon kill the Blues? It's when he makes that pull-up play between the corner and the hash marks. And that's exactly what he did. And Parayko committed himself to going behind the net. And And Barbashev was probably trying to compensate for that and got too low. And
maybe he's I don't know. Maybe he's thinking he can go on the other side of the net and kind of cut McKinnon off if he comes out the other side. Thinking a couple steps ahead is great, but not when it causes you to misplay your current assignment. So anyway, that was just one glaring play I wanted to break down a little bit, but the Blues were outplayed most of this game, and badly, like you just mentioned, Jeff. Outshot 42-18, but they did have chances to tie it in the final minutes after Tarasenko scores. Tarasenko scored on a nice play with Thomas, kind of a little broken play at center, where Thomas had a little sweep pass and kind of fed Tarasenko, had a partial break, and let a quick wrist shot go from the slot to beat Kemper upper glove. So they were there at the end. I mean, as badly as the Blues were outplayed, they scored 3 times and they were within a goal. They were able to pull Bennington to have a chance to tie. Couldn't get it done. So as badly as they're outplayed, they were right there. So I guess that's what you take away from this game. They had a chance to tie.
Right. O'Connor doesn't block that shot. from Krug at the end, it's going to
Yeah.
hit somebody else anyway.
Oh,
but, hey,
that was a great block, though. Woo.
Mhm. It really was.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want, though, right? I mean, like you said at the beginning of this segment, tables were turned. This was except for, the Blues being able to score with the goalie pulled. The game was very, very similar to the game in Colorado, right? Same outcome, 4-3. Yeah. So
I think in Colorado, the Blues outplayed the Avalanche in the first period, but it kind of evened out after that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think most of the game was Colorado, but I mean, it is what it is. So O'Reilly is a huge part of this team. So.
Right. O'Reilly and Saad both being out, huge miss in that game. But, Colorado had that, didn't have Landeskog, didn't have McKinnon when we played them in there. So.
And I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but if anyone has not seen, it is believed that Brandon Saad will be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, he's been skating, so that's a good thing. And there's no timetable on O'Reilly yet. So it was told that he'll be on the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, Berube said he will play on the trip.
We will talk about the Blues extending the Chicago Blackhawks futility after this word from Center Ice Brewery. Center Ice Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly.
Austin Lynch. Do that. Yeah, I was going to say, I think this might be my second to last one. I think I got a couple, maybe one more beauty left. But I was going to
head over this weekend.
Austin Lynch says, "Hey, Ponder, I'll see you November 27th as well. My buddy and I just bought tickets." Awesome. Yeah. And for anyone who notices that on social media, Kurt, Bill, or I say we're going to be at a game like I was on Saturday, with the game we're going to talk about in a minute, we'd love to meet up with you. So yeah, don't ever hesitate to, because I've actually had people in the past say, "Yeah, I thought I saw you at the game, but I didn't want to be weird and say anything." It's not weird. Say hi. I'd love to meet you. I know that we all love meeting listeners. It's always really fun.
Jeff likes it weird.
I am. I'm all about the weird, man. I mean, look at me. I got a mustache. Of course I'm all about the weird.
He can't decide what he wants to do. Mustache up here, scruff down here.
Mm-hmm.
You should see his chest.
Oh, well, I can show you right now if you want.
In this, the Oilers,
I'll just show you the Oilers jersey I'm wearing.
And
of course, it's who you think it is.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Brett Hedican.
What's his name? No, it's God damn. Who's wearing it now for them? Somebody.
Yanni Nienema.
That's what I should have gone with. He preceded him. Yanni Nienema. Great name.
I don't know who's wearing it now. Let me find out.
I can find out real quick here.
I'm gonna look first.
Cassian.
Zach
That's what I
Cassian.
thought.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Zach Cassian. Yeah.
No, I would never have his jersey.
So the Blues took on Chicago. I was a little scared before this game. They talked about being a trap game, which is kind of an overused phrase. It's a game that a team that's struggling, not playing well against a good team. A good team kind of a letdown game, thinking it's easy, and then they'll get whooped by the struggling team. And this was a game that I would not your traditional scared that you're going to lose to a team that you take lightly. But I really wanted the Blue, like every Blues fan, and basically every hockey fan that's not a Hawks fan, really wanted the Blues to beat the Hawks because of the stuff that's been going on in the Blackhawks. People want them to lose.
Side note, isn't it just so much fun to have 30 other franchises rooting along with the Blues to say, everyone just beat the Blackhawks. Don't let them win a game all year.
I think people generally dislike the Blackhawks anyway, but I think I'm trying to find the which one's the stream for the Buffalo and the Sharks. I'll pick that one. But I think it's enhanced now. I think people are like doubled up on anyone who was like on the fence about the Blackhawks is like, no, fuck them.
I've been reading some Illuminati type literature about the Blackhawks. I say that it's internet forums, but people talking about this could be the thing that gets the Blackhawks to rebrand, completely rebrand the entire team after this.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. At some point, the question's going to be asked, right? Do they shed the Blackhawks name? There has been a lot of social pressure on them before this, and right now they're at a low point. Will they succumb to the pressure? It's an interesting thought. But
what if they change their logo to? What if they change their logo to a helicopter? Would that be okay?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say they could change their name now and go a complete 180 and be the Chicago Whistleblowers.
No.
Zing! Take that, Chicago.
Yeah.
Did you see the logo? The guy posted a logo on social media of the Hawks logo flipped, is reversed.
Yeah,
and it says
it's
new
the same
logo for the
logo.
Hawks. It's the same logo, but the hawk is looking the other direction.
I love that. I love that.
I'm like, oh, that's good. That's really good.
I missed that. That's beautiful.
That's comedy. So
it's gold, Jerry.
I was extra scared before this game because I, under no circumstances, wanted the Blues to lose this game. It just felt different. It was like you can't lose this game. You can't. To a rival who's going through this controversy, you can't. Blues dominated the first period, outshooting the Hawks 14-4. So good sign, right? First period, no goals. Fleury was amazing. It could have easily been a couple 2-0 Blues.
Let's add this. This was a fun game, and the fact that this was the first time in 65 regular season games and playoff games that they did not play a West team from last year. So it was nice to see another team actually enter the Blues building, which I was there for.
Yep.
Which was just I was against that last year. The Blues should have been central. End of discussion. So after that, though, the Hawks, play evened out a little bit, kind of reminiscent of the Blues Avalanche the first time they played. Blues dominated the first period, and then it kind of was more even the rest of the way, I thought. But when I say even, Hawks got a little better, but the Blues got sloppy. The puck management wasn't what it needed to be, especially in their own end. Blackhawks pushed back a little. The shots were a little more even in the second. 15-12 St. Louis. Still no goals in this game.
And in this game, first of all, you mentioned the goaltending was great. Marc-Andre Fleury did make some really nice saves early on to keep the score at 0-0. But, man, how many times the Blackhawks whiff on a great opportunity? There was multiple times because we were sitting in the first row of the upper deck. So we saw these plays develop. I'm sitting with one of my hockey teammates, and every time we're like, oh, if it goes, we're both thinking if it goes to him, that's a sure goal. Well, it would go to whoever it was that we had zeroed in on, and then they would just whiff. I think Connor Murphy was one of them. And it was just, this game should be 3-0 Blackhawks. They've had so many great, they haven't had a ton of shots, but they've had some really good opportunities, and they've just flat out missed. That's just the type of hockey they're playing right now.
So with about 13 minutes left in the game, Blues were on the power play. Torrey Krug scored on a quick one-touch play from the right dot through the 5-hole on Fleury. And I don't care what anyone says. This was a hard, quick pass to Thomas for him to deflect. Or just to throw it on net to get a rebound. He was not shooting to score. It was a quick little whip, kind of a throw on net kind of a thing, and he was either passing to Thomas and missed, or he was just throwing it on net because the Blues were passing around, and they probably passed like 8 or 9 times. They just weren't getting the puck towards the net. And I think even Pang said Krug had enough of this and wanted to get the shot on net. I think it was a pass, but either way.
Did you hear what he said after the game, Krug?
What did he say?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you saw the thing where Perron sat in as a reporter for Krug's post game. Yeah. So, and somebody had asked him, what was that shot? What happened there? And he said basically that he was sick of seeing Perron. He called him Perry. He's sick of seeing Perry stick handle so much and not get a shot on net. So he thought he would finally throw it on net. And I didn't hear what Pang said, and that was the first I've heard that. But that was the way that I read it when I was watching the game and I saw the replay on the big screen. Was Krug finally just said, "Fuck it, you guys aren't going to shoot. I'm going to fucking shoot," and yeah, he just threw it there. But watching the replay, you're right. I think he was trying to at least get a deflection from Thomas. But how many times in hockey do you hear the cliche, "Put the puck on net and things are going to happen"? Good things are going to happen, and that's exactly what happened.
I thought Thomas was in great position for a tip, which I thought the pass was going towards him, but it was actually on net in the middle of Fleury. And if you watch Fleury in the replay, I think Fleury thought the pass was going to his right a little bit. Mm-hmm. And as soon as that Krug put the puck towards the net, that overhead shot that they had of Fleury, he leans right, not a lot, but he leans right, and he doesn't have time to get down to cover the 5-hole. I think he was expecting the pass over a little bit where Thomas was. So, and that's all it took. So, great play by Krug, power play goal. That's how the game ended, 1-0. Not a clean game by any means, kind of a frustrating game, if you ask me, with the sloppy play. But goalies were impressive. Fleury kept the Hawks in the game early. Then both goalies kept them in the rest of the way. Bennington gets his first shut.
I was gonna say that's exactly what I was gonna ask Bill. Bennington gets a shutout. How about that, huh? Bill, you're on mute, buddy.
You're muted.
Damn, I didn't think it was possible anymore.
It was first one since February 20th, 2020.
Yeah, I thought he spent most of them in 2019. But hey, I mean, shutout streak against the Blackhawks, right? He hasn't. We haven't given up a goal against the Blackhawks in over 2 games at this point. So, 2
years.
That entire third period, all I could think was, this has to end with the Bennington shutout, and I think they did it more so with the Husso game. But Pang and John Kelly aren't going to shy away from using the shutout word during during the stretch. And they're not superstitious. They're broadcasters. They have no impact on the game.
I don't care if they're not superstitious. If they say it, it ruins it for everyone that is superstitious. The people that, if anybody says it, that's bad for the people who are superstitious. It's not just me personally saying it. It's like, I can't hear it. If I hear it, that's the same as me saying it. So
are you moaning over that goal there, Bill?
Yeah, Drake Kachula. What a shot!
That was a game in San Jose.
Blackhawk. Yeah, former Blackhawk Drake Kachula.
Former Edmonton Oiler Drake Kachula.
After this Buffalo Sabres San Jose Sharks game, you can check out Teal Town after the game. They'll do a live show after the game. If you're
we love those. We love those silly fuckers over there.
Yeah,
silly fuckers. That's their after dark series. The silly fuckers.
The silly fuckers. Yep.
They rebranded this year.
The Blackhawks set the mark for their worst start to an NHL season ever with their 9th straight loss, 7-2. Happy that the Blues helped them set that record. So the Hawks would end up getting their first win of the season versus Ottawa Monday night, 5-1 to break that losing streak.
Yeah, I
And
saw on
everybody
social media.
knows that doesn't count.
Yeah,
You're right.
I saw on social media. I think it was DeBrincat posted. I guess Kane had a big night, and he's like, "Kane, way to go and get yours, buddy." And it was like every comment was like, "Wow, you guys are celebrating the one victory in like 9 games, really?"
Yeah.
And it's just
10.
Yeah, first victory in 10 games. And again, we said this last week, but I don't think I'm ever gonna get sick of saying it. This team, to many people, is a playoff team, and the Blues aren't going into the season. I don't understand how you rate it that way. I just don't. Yes, the Blues are going to go through a rough stretch. The Blackhawks are going through a winning streak eventually. It will happen. But there is no way that the Blackhawks are a better team than the Blues.
How many times do we talk about national media and when they do like preseason analysis and stuff like that of each team, how they miss details about a team because they just can't effectively in detail cover every single team. You just can't cover like they can't cover every team like we cover the Blues weekly in depth and how much we pay attention. Like if people who eat, sleep, and breathe one team, they can't do that with all 31. It's impossible. So they miss shit, and I think that they totally glazed over the Blues this season. A lot of them did. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, really, what these national media folks need to do is just listen to Let's Go Blues Radio, and it's all the coverage you need.
I'm saying. Someone posted a rumor that Edmonton is in talks. I say someone, they say, and this could be someone making something up. I just thought it'd be fun to talk about. That Edmonton is in talks with the Hawks to acquire Fleury. So pretty early for a trade like that, if you ask me, and especially with Koskinen playing well in Edmonton. And the Oilers off to a really, really good start.
And Mike Smith's playing pretty good too.
I don't understand why Edmonton would be looking for a goaltender right now.
I do.
I do.
Because they have Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen.
But here's the deal. Well, they're playing. Koskinen's playing very, very well. And also, Fleury makes too much money. They don't have enough cap space. They have to send salary the other way.
They probably have to send like Nugent Hopkins or somebody the other way too.
So they have to dump like $5 million in salary.
Yeah. No, I think that Edmonton realizes that if they're going to get away from this goaltending duo, they're going to have to sell high, right? And Koskinen's playing the best that he's played. Maybe it's a guy that after 5-6 seasons has finally figured out the NHL. I mean, the dude's huge. What, 6'7", 6'8", and takes up a lot of net. I'll never understand a goalie wearing 19 in the NHL, but hey, to each their own. I don't think long term he's their solution. And if the Hawks are already willing to move on this season, why would you not go after Fleury? I mean, after that performance he put up against the Blues, he's obviously still got it. And but
he had Vezina winner last year,
right?
He hadn't played that well at this point, though. What 3? Like
I thought he played fine.
No. Yeah, I mean, 4. I mean, well, as far as numbers wise, 4 goals against.
Well, numbers doesn't tell the whole story.
I know, right. I agree with you, especially with goaltending. But I'm just saying, if you're just looking at numbers, which I was, so sorry. Go ahead.
What do you always accuse media of doing with Binnington?
Yeah.
Come on.
I know. You're right. But Fleury makes $7 million.
It only applies when it's not the Blues.
That's right.
Exactly. And it applies to everybody. Us too. We can't. I mean, we
can't watch 32 teams. Yeah.
You can't. Well, you can't and not analyze them in depth like we do a couple teams. It's just not. I mean, it's hard enough to analyze in depth just your division. I mean that's almost impossible, much less the entire league.
Yeah, I've watched a couple Blackhawks games. That game on Saturday was probably the third game I've watched in full of the Blackhawks, and because I just love seeing them lose, so I've just been like, what's a Blackhawks game?
Yeah.
So he's played fairly well.
Fairly.
From it's
Fairly well.
well. In the games that I've watched. So I think he's been fine. It's just that team is just a dumpster fire.
Special teams for the Blues have driven them this season. Power play is ranked second in the NHL. We're 7 out of 20, 35%. PK is also second in the NHL before tonight, that is. 2 goals against and 23 times shorthanded. That's 91.3%. They say that your combined special teams need to add up to at least 110% if you want to be successful. The Blues sit at 126.3, which is fantastic. Second to Edmonton, which we just talked about, who is at a ridiculous 137.5%.
Their power plays number 1, right?
45 something percent. Yeah,
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Do not take penalties against Edmonton. Good Lord.
No. And their PK is pretty good too. The PK is like it's third, I think, or tied with the Blues, tied for second. So Husso and Clifford on COVID protocol. Joel Hofer has been called up to back up Binnington now that Husso has tested positive. This brings up a whole interesting little wrinkle. So do you start him Thursday night against San Jose? I think Binnington for sure starts against LA on Wednesday, right? And then you see how it goes for him on Wednesday. If it's an easy workload, maybe you start him on Thursday too. Well, I mean, does Hofer start at all? Because Husso is probably gone for 4 games or so at least, right?
Yeah, no, I don't expect him to start. I think if either game gets away from the Blues, you might see Hofer go in there. It just, I think right now they're going to say, Benny, the crease is yours. Too early in the season to trust a game to a rookie. It's yours until you shit the bed.
Could you argue that it's too early in the season to worry about starting Binnington every game and just I mean, that's just to play devil's advocate with that.
Oh, go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
No. I think Jeff and I were about to make the same point. No, you don't worry about that at this point in the season. Unless you're concerned that Binnington may also have been exposed and may have symptoms. You're not going
to. I've got that down here to talk about. Can you imagine if Binnington tests positive like tomorrow morning?
I think
what do you do? You make a trade?
Somebody call up Mike McKenna. Here comes Mike. That's Mike McKenna's music.
That's not the worst idea.
Yeah.
No.
If all things considered, McKenna's got. He hasn't played. He's been practicing with the team because of Husso, or he did practice once.
Right.
With the team.
He practiced one game. Yeah.
Yeah. So one night, but yeah. If Binnington tests positive, that's bad. Then all of a sudden we've got Hofer and
Ellis.
Ellis.
Yeah, Colton Ellis.
Yeah, I guess we'd go with that, right? For like 4 or 5 games.
You'd have to. You don't have the cap space to bring in a Devin Dubnyk.
Right.
He's not playing.
Or a Tom Barrasso.
Or Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Where's Byron Dafoe? Is he still around?
Where's Byron Dafoe? That's a good one. No, I to go off Bill's point, you ride Binnington right now, barring him testing positive too, which we all hope doesn't happen. Binnington's the guy. He's just going to get all the workload right now, and because at the end of the day, when Husso comes back, you can trust him against some mid-level teams. And you mentioned here in the notes here, Kurt, we got back-to-backs coming up on the 13th and 14th versus Carolina and Edmonton. Those are 2 very good teams, but I think you could definitely trust Husso in one of those games. So you just hope he's back by then.
Brandy Capone in the YouTube chat says, Kurt, I will come for your head if Benner tests positive.
Yes, do, please.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm just waiting. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and hear they tested positive at the morning skate.
If that happens, I'm driving to your house and I'm Brandy, I'll pick you up on the way. I don't know where you live, but we'll take him together.
Oh, jeez. So anyway, as bad as that would be, we have 15 games in 30 days this month. So the backup figures to start, at least 4 games maybe. Unless you want to, I don't think you want to give one goalie 15 games in 30 days. That's a lot. So it's a bad time for Husso to have COVID. Shame on him.
Yeah, idiot. What are you doing?
Why did you hug O'Reilly?
Stop hugging people. Stop hugging people. Quit licking doorknobs.
Don't hug your captain. Jeez. No, this is this stretch is actually a little reminiscent for me when they sent down Chad Johnson and brought up Binnington in 2019, and Jake Allen just kept getting starts no matter what because they didn't want to play Binnington, and it was like, okay, eventually you're going to have to play your backup, and then
how bad
happened when they did?
How bad does that look now? That decision,
awful.
It's just bad. You just never know with coaching. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ken Morris in the YouTube chat says you get Dave Ayers.
Yeah,
he's
no longer the E-bug, is he?
No, I don't think so.
No. He is now the, like, every time Toronto goes to Carolina, hurricane warning siren guy.
Yep,
right? That's his role from now on.
I love if you guys have not heard Steve Dangle's, I guess it was a Dang It on YouTube. He does one thing on Sportsnet where he breaks down like plays of the week and stuff for Sportsnet. But that whole his breakdown of that game when Ayers came in to play against the Maple Leafs
that's a good one.
Gold. It's so much gold. Look for Steve Dangle's breakdown of that game. That's
I'm going to give what Bill just said. The Ken Morris comment. We get Dave Ayers. That is our comment of the show. Congratulations, Ken. You win nothing.
Congratulations on nothing. So, and it was brought up on social media today that it seems like COVID is slowly making its way through the roster. It's always somebody. So first Bushnevich, then Saad, then O'Reilly, then Husso, then Clifford, all a handful of days apart when they've been diagnosed or tested positive. So it was suggested on Twitter that maybe it started during the Vail, Colorado trip and has been making its way around since. And they can't stop it. It just keeps going. So not a crazy thought as far as the timeline goes. It works,
We just gotta have it work through the roster. Unfortunately, there's nothing else.
Or
you can
just
do.
have it, or have somebody end it. So and don't spread it to somebody else, and then hopefully it stops. But
but how do you do that?
I'm just saying.
What is this?
No, I'm just saying.
PTA
you can't control it. It's just gonna have to work its way through.
No, what I'm saying is if someone happens to not pass it along, that's where it would end. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Hopefully that's what happens.
We have to get lucky and that happen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not the PTA culture, right? You don't get Binnington. Your turn to get it from Saad. It's not how
it's like a game. It's like a game of telephone.
Matt Malo 12. Matt Malo, is it? That's an L, right? Matt Malo. Surprised they called up Hofer and not Lindgren with the back-to-back coming up. Hofer is the number. The Hofer is the number 3 in the organizations. Right? So.
Right, and the thing with Charlie Lindgren is he's the more experienced guy, but he could never really crack with the Canadians when he was there. So I'm not honestly surprised. I don't know. Maybe have they? I assume they've already left for LA at this point, because you definitely don't want to go on a West Coast swing with a guy you're going to doubt in goal, right? As if Binnington gets hurt or Brandy
We did that for
Coney
years
and-
with Alan, though.
Worst nightmare. True statement. But
He's
yeah,
right.
the worst nightmare scenario that Bennington comes down positive tomorrow. That's you don't
Stop
go.
it.
You don't go west when your farm team is on the East Coast without a guy. You're not going out there with a plan, and I think they have to have some level of trust in Hofer to have called him up over Lindgren at this point.
I would have rather seen Denny Lemieux.
Icing happen when the puck come down.
Arm go up, go back down again. Ken Morris says actor Steve Carell is the goalie and played nets in university. That sounds like caveman speak. He played nets in university. Maybe go out and sign Charles Barkley to a 2-week contract. That reminds me. Just get a fat guy, put him in net, put some pads on him.
Yep.
What somebody's parents who had never watched hockey before, just get a fat guy, put him in goal.
Well, wasn't that when Wayne Gretzky was on Saturday Night Live? And we have to mention probably the worst rated show of all time on Saturday Night Live, and that's saying something.
It was pretty bad.
The celebrities going to the game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
John Travolta said, "Why don't you just get a fat guy with a board?"
Yeah, here's what they need. Go out and get friend of the show, Mandy Levier. Get Mandy Levier out there. That's who we need in goal.
I bet you McKenna would be on the depth chart at some point, right?
He has to
if
be, right?
if Husso's got it, if Bennington gets it, and say Hofer gets it, I bet you it's like Ellis and then McKenna.
Let's stop talking about this because this is making me depressed.
And then McKenna can finally get his Blues debut.
Wow,
that he deserves. Friend of the show, Mike McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
The TV ratings for the Blues this last October were the best TV ratings in the team's 25 seasons on Bally Sports Midwest, which, let's be honest, Bally's is new. It was Fox Sports before. During this record-setting month, the Blues averaged a 5.0 household rating on Bally's in the St. Louis designated market area, according to Nielsen Media Research compiled by BSMW. I don't know who that is. This figure represents a 43% increase from October 2019. The previous October high was a 4.5 in 2016. The Blues win versus Los Angeles on October 25th was the highest rated regular season game on Bally Sports Midwest since April 7th, 2015. The Blues local market TV ratings ranked number 3 amongst U.S. NHL teams. The Blues have finished in the top 5 for 8 straight seasons, something that we've said for a long, long time. The Blues always pull in pretty good TV ratings. Top 5, usually.
In the words of friend of the show, Tom Calhoun, thank you, Blues fans.
So, Hockey Town. We have a hockey town here.
Mm-hmm.
Good sports fans in this town. We watch hockey. We like hockey. Let's see. Next up for the Blues, we just talked about tomorrow, Wednesday in LA, and then Thursday in San Jose. Already the third meeting between the Kings and the Blues. Blues took the first 2 games 7-3 and 3-0. 3-0 was apparently the game where O'Reilly gave Husso COVID. On Thursday in San Jose, the Sharks got off to a 5-0 start of the season, but haven't won in regulation in their last 3, and they're playing right now. They lost to Nashville 3-1, then Montreal 4-0. Then they beat Winnipeg 2-1 in overtime. Thank you for that.
Yep, so. And again, weird scheduling by the NHL. The Kings and Blues wrap up their season series before the Blues have even played most Central teams. And we had I kind of mentioned this before. The Avalanche, a lot of rivalry blood between them the last 2 seasons. They don't play them until the second to last game of the season, and that's it. Central Division team, and you play them 3 times.
If you're going to have divisional playoffs, which is what they have, you you have to play your division more. You can't.
Yeah.
You're trying to seed your division, and you're not playing the teams in your division. It doesn't make any sense to me. Sort that out. Now with the addition of Seattle, it's even less games against the division. I said before about not playing the Eastern Conference at all. You could take away one game. You could play a division at a time like the NFL does. Just play one division one year, one division the next year.
I think what it is you play the Eastern and Western Conference play each other one time a year. You take one division, like let's say it's the give me one of the division names. Damn, Metropolitan. You take the Metropolitan division. You only play them on the road in one season. The next season, you only play them at home. Do that every year. Just switch it off, and that way you can have more divisional games. It's that simple.
You could play every team in the Eastern Conference, but take did you say one division at home and one division away? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That works for me. That frees up. That allows you to play a couple more games against everybody in your division.
That would give you 16 more games to play in your division.
Yeah, right. So that would be good. That would be instead of, we only play Colorado 3 times and then some teams 4 times. It really should be at least 6.
Wait, 32, right? That gives you 32. No. Yeah, 32 games to play more in your division.
No, you're taking one.
Well, because you're right. Game, you're right. 16. It's 16. Game.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
It's 16.
So, and you could take a game. You wouldn't have to play the Western Conference, the Pacific as much.
And at the very least, but at the very least, why are you playing the Pacific as much as some Central teams?
Play the Pacific.
Take away games from the Pacific rather than the Central.
Yeah, exactly. But play the Pacific twice each. That's it.
Pick what, 3? I think it'd be 2 teams. Pick 2 teams that you only play them twice instead of 3 times, and then you put those 2 games against your Central teams, and then you're at least playing all the Central teams 4 times. There's so many things they could do, and they did the dumbest thing. They took away games from their own division.
And this is strictly because they're having divisional playoffs. If they didn't have divisional playoffs, then they could do something differently. But at divisional playoffs, you want to seed your division, you should play your division more than just 3 times. Some of these teams, silly.
I think that it probably has something that maybe next year we'll see something like that. But going back to my least favorite thing about the NHL is how closely congregated all of the Eastern Conference teams are. I like the fact that it forces them to travel a lot more. And in other seasons you won't. But I think that probably one thing that's going into the decision for the scheduling this year to make sure every team plays every team twice is you're introducing a new team. You're introducing Seattle. You want Seattle to get exposure in every hockey market this year. Maybe next year they change that. That there has to be something figured out, right? We don't need Arizona in our division for one, because they're an hour and a half from LA and a 5-hour plane ride from St. Louis. But they do need to figure it out in terms of a better balance of divisional games, and it's hard to do without taking away Eastern Conference games. I think Jeff's solution is probably the easiest and the wisest, but I at the end of the day, I would fear that we're going to start seeing more, in I don't know, maybe there have been studies like what is the impact of travel on expected total points in a season on an NHL franchise. Making Tampa go to Vancouver and vice versa, is going to help. Making, the Rangers and the Islanders go to LA and Anaheim, I think that taxes them more than if they didn't have to do that, right? Because they're going to replace those games with games against, other teams in the metro where they get to take a train to the game, right? And instead of an 8-hour plane flight across the country. just the way that the NHL's laid out geographically, there's always going to be a bias. I don't like that. I'm all for even having different divisional alignments. I thought the NHL, if there was an opportunity to get away from the classic division alignments, it would have been after last year, right? When you had the all Canadian division. But that's not what fans want. I think fans want more divisional games. We want more divisional games. Let's get that, and just, I guess I'll have to get over my, I hate the fact that East Coast teams get to sleep in their own bed after playing an away game.
Yep.
That's true.
Figured out.
Bill, did you need to scoot, or are you going to hang for a while?
We're close.
Okay. You let me know.
That's what she said.
Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. We got the Hurricanes are now 8-0. Wins versus the Islanders, the Predators, Canadians, Blue Jackets, Maple Leafs, Bruins, Blackhawks, and Coyotes. When they beat the Arizona to go 8-0, I thought this was interesting. They tweeted out, that should say 8-0. The 8-0 Carolina Hurricanes, the best team in the NHL. And I'm like, they're second in the NHL to Florida. So that was kind of a weird thing to me. They were a point behind Florida. Not the best in the NHL point wise. I mean, standings wise, they're not. Plus, honestly, their strength of schedule has not been very good. So, it'd be different if you could say, "Wow, we played 4 top 10 teams in the first 8 games." No, they haven't. They played one team in the top half of the standings right now, and that's Columbus at 13th. That's the best team they've played that's in the standings right now. So their strength of schedule leaves something to be desired. So to be proclaiming they're the best team in the NHL, come on.
That's still impressive.
And who do they play tomorrow? It's impressive. But
Chicago.
Who do they play tomorrow?
Chicago.
But Chicago's a winning team now. They're on a 1-game winning streak.
Oh yeah. No, I mean they're winning the games they should win if they're a good team, right? That's fine. But they play Chicago tomorrow. But I think after that game, then they play Florida and Tampa Bay, then Philly, then St. Louis, then Vegas. So that will be a much better test. Well, talk to me on November 16th after that's done, and we'll see how they're doing.
How about talk to us next week? We'll see, right? Because they play, the weekend. They will have already played Florida and Tampa, so we'll see how they do that.
Yeah. And then we play them coming up after that, so
yeah,
that'll be interesting. Coach Quinnville resigns due to the fallout from the Kyle Beach and Brad Aldrich news. And I've got some things listed down here that he should have been fired, not allowed to resign. Personally, I don't think that's cool. Should have been allowed to coach last Wednesday. We talked about that, which he did while we were doing our show. And
he was able to add another fucking win to his total.
Yeah,
that's hopefully the last game he will ever coach in the NHL. But the fact that he was able to add one more win to his total is complete bullshit.
How could he ever coach again? How could somebody hire him? You can't do it. The PRBMS, and he's not. I don't think he goes in the Hall of Fame, unless after 20 years from now, people kind of maybe people feel differently about the situation. Maybe he's made amends somehow. Otherwise,
it'll be a Pete Rose situation. It'll be the day he dies. They will put him in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
don't think it'll come to that. I think he starts his, he takes the rest of the season off, right? Remember when he got fired from Chicago, he had the luxury of taking the rest of that season off.
And we were begging for him to come to St. Louis.
Right. Thank God we didn't do that. But I think right. Right now he gets to take the rest of the season off. And I'm not saying that there's going to be a job offer waiting for him, but his job going forward is, trying to repair his image and come back away from, this was the coach who didn't want to deal with an ethical problem because it would potentially cost them. It would be a loss. Winning at all costs.
There were people who were suggesting that he was considering retirement before taking the Florida job. So maybe he does just go off and retire.
I think for him to get into the Hall of Fame, I think he has to.
He's got to repair damage.
He's got to repair damage here. He has to do something to make this as right as you can make it at this point. You can't fix what happened, but you can do the right things going forward from this point forward. So I think he needs to do something. Meet with Kyle Beach. I don't know. I don't know what he has to do, but he needs to do something, because to make people feel better about Quinnville's role in that situation, that he's truly sorry, that he really is making an effort to apologize. I think, we're a forgiving society mostly. I think people would like to forgive him, but they need a good reason to. And I think that he's really got to go a long way to make that happen. And I think that until he does that, I think he needs to do something like that, I think, to get into the Hall of Fame, because before this, he was a shoo-in. I think he was a shoo-in. He's won a few cups. He's on the all-time wins list, top 10, right? What is top 5, isn't he? All time, something like that. He's up there. So,
obviously,
he was a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame.
Obviously, this is kind of a loose comparison, but I think of like celebrities who have redeemed themselves after a crazy situation. Charlie Sheen comes to mind. I know he's kind of a crazy figure, but he found ways to put himself back out in social media and make him a relevant name again after his whole blow up with 2.5 Men. Now, I know, again, very loose comparison, but I'm saying he found ways to make it happen. It has happened before, and it can happen again. He needs to go through the right channels and maybe work with kids who have been sexually abused or something to put himself back out in the public eye to show that he has made amends with what he did. But that's going to take a long time. It's not going to be overnight.
I said Quinnville was top 5. He's second all time in wins.
Yeah.
With 970 behind Bowman, who has
Bowman.
1244. Yeah. So I mean, really, Quinnville, and he coached 5 years less than Bowman. So if he had coached 30 years, he could pass Bowman. I mean, he could have been the all-time wins leader. So, how old is Quinnville? He is 63. So he's up there. I don't know if he coached 5 more years, probably not. But still. I think the fallout due to the excellent reporting by Rick Westhead has been substantial, but not near enough. I think Kevin Cheveldayoff still having a job is kind of wrong. And the Blackhawks still having all the draft picks and only being fined $2 million is wrong. So
agree.
Yeah. Everything the NHL's response to this, has just everything has seemed to smack of the old boys network, right? Gary Bettman's going to go down and have a conversation with Quinnville and make a decision when everybody knows the right decision is Joel Quinnville shouldn't have coached that last game. And then he's going to go and have the conversation with Kevin Cheveldayoff. And the result of that is, he was the least senior person in there. But, and so we're not going to hold him responsible. He expected his superiors to handle it. Kind of the same bullshit that Stan Bowman tried to get away with. Yeah.
And nothing was said for 10 years. 10 fucking years. Right. Nobody said anything. They all knew nothing would happen with it. They all knew that. In 10 years, they said nothing. They're all, no one, hey, remember that meeting we had about that serious thing that happened? Whatever happened with that? Oh, nothing? Don't you think something should happen with that?
Shouldn't we do something?
Shouldn't we? I mean, maybe.
Guys, seriously? Nothing? Nothing happened?
It's been 10 years.
That conversation was never had.
In 10 years, they never even thought about it, huh? Never even thought about it. Never thought they should have? Come on.
Yeah. How many conversations happened where it was, God, can you imagine if that ever came out?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean, we talked about it last week that Quinnville, Kurt, you said there wasn't just one decision from Quinnville; it was every time he thought about it, not to say anything to anyone.
That's a decision.
It's the exact same thing here. It's every time he took a new position, whether it's Cheval Dayoff, Quinnville, or whoever, that in the back of their mind they're going, "Ooh, I really hope this never comes out," because look what happened that it did.
And that's the thing too with this is that if you're thinking, gosh, I hope it never comes out, and all you have to do is come forward with it, and I mean fairly early on, right? Come forward with it, and you're good, you're clean. I don't know, you're doing the right thing. I don't know. I just maybe they thought they wouldn't be taken serious and they'd be blackballed, and somebody else is super under the rug, and then you never get a job in the NHL again. I guess that's probably out there, but. Even so, man.
But man, your moral compass has to be speaking to you over that.
And maybe it was, but they were just scared. I don't know. I'm trying to make excuses for him. Bettman in the NHL tried to ignore Westhead's questions during the press conference, Bettman's press conference the other day. 45 minutes before they called on him to allow him. Did you hear about this, Jeff? Before they allowed him to ask a question. And that was only because other reporters started to ask why. Why haven't you called on Westhead?
Right, and it was Pierre LeBrun, right?
Yeah.
So kudos to Pierre LeBrun for being the first voice to speak up, and others followed. But yeah, that's exactly what you would expect from an old boys network kind of situation, right? We're gonna let you in the room, but you don't have a voice, and that.
Yeah, the one of the most prominent figures in
this whole thing. Let to speak, right?
Yeah. So here was Rick Westhead's question that he finally got to ask. I understand in your call with Kyle Beach and his attorney on Saturday that you assured him that Kyle and his family would have counseling for as long as needed because of this. And I wonder if right now you're publicly willing to make some commitment to the boy who was abused by Brett Aldrich in 2013 and to his family. And Bettman's response is, I would have to know more about the circumstance. I am more focused because of the circumstances in front of us on what happened in the NHL environment. I certainly wouldn't rule it out. I certainly would need to know more information. Having said that, making our resources available is something that I would probably, not even knowing all the facts, want to do. But I think I need to know more before I could make the type of blanket commitment you're asking for. So what should he have said? Yes.
Yes. 100%.
He should have said yes.
Right.
Call me right fucking now, and I will help you.
How hard is that? How hard is it for a league of $1 billion operation, multi-billion-dollar corporation to say yes, we will help this individual and their family?
Here is my personal number. Please pass it on to this child.
Right.
They just got $2 million. They just got $2 million from Chicago. They could give that to the family.
Right.
Right.
And yeah, I mean that I think that was one of the key moments to everybody shifting into the thought that maybe now it's time for Bettman and Daly and even Donald Fear to go. I mean, I definitely don't like the idea that Donald Fear knew about this and didn't tell anybody. He allowed himself to live on an island for 10 fucking years. He
represents the players.
I think
he represents the players.
And granted, the NHL has a history of bad representation for the players.
I know, but he represents the players.
Right.
And he didn't represent the player.
Right.
It's literally his job.
Man, I want to make a crazy claim. Now, I will say that I've seen people say this blanket statement of, well, if a female was working with the 2010 Blackhawks, this gets out, this doesn't happen, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a little much to say. You don't know with how deep this went.
If a female would have exec was in the meeting and she would make sure
that she would have, which I just don't think you can make that claim. I think that a female could have made the same mistake in saying, well, I think what's his name? McIsaac, McDonough, what was that guy's name? The guy that was supposed to make the decision on what to do. I'm drawing a blank
I
on
think
his
there
name,
was a
but
McIsaac and a McDonough.
It was McDonough.
Was
Was
it
it McDonough?
McDonough?
It was McDonough.
yeah. So I think that they would have made the same mistake. But I will say, and this is completely, kind of spitballing off what Bill just said. Imagine if they want to make a statement and they fired Gary Bettman, and maybe even just as an interim basis, hire someone like Danny Ryland, who's the founder of the NWHL, or a Kendall Coyne Schofield. Put a female in charge. You want to talk about shaking up the NHL old boys club? That would do it right there.
Well, the owners would have to approve that kind of a thing.
I know,
So
but I'm just saying
that is the Good Old Boys Club. So
if
the Good
that
Old Boys
were to
Club would have
happen-
to hire somebody to shake their own club up.
Yes,
That'd be interesting.
I know, but I'm just saying, man, I would love to see something like that. It's
I agree with you.
never going to happen.
I agree with
But
you.
I would
And
love it.
I think that, and generally speaking, I think more women need to be quote unquote in power in the world. I think the world will be a better place.
Yeah.
I think things will be run a little more efficiently if you've got some more of a balance there with men's of head of state in some areas and women in others. I think you'd achieve a more of a nice balance. I think, and most of our listeners, according to analytics, are men. So sorry, guys, but I think that's true.
Yeah, it is.
So and not in every case, but I think oftentimes I think that would be the case. So,
and I'm not just saying, like I just mentioned Kendall Coyne Schofield. I have no idea outside of hockey what her resume says. I'm just throwing a name out there. I'm not saying you just put a woman in charge because she's a woman, but I would love to see a woman considered for some of these top end roles in the NHL because we need a shakeup. And not just women, but younger men maybe who recently have graduated from, Ivy League schools that know how to run businesses or whatever. Like, let's get rid of these old boys as quickly as we possibly fucking can and bring in a new regime.
Let's do that in Congress too, and with the president and the president. I mean, there are some nice. I'm tired of the hey Jeff, you're governor. Yeah, the guy who has accused the Post-Dispatch journalist of hacking a government website when all he was doing was looking at the source code through a browser. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's admitted in public that he doesn't know much about technology.
You know what's funny is that
he's calling him a hacker.
He says that, and it's really funny because basically, if he's a hacker, I hack every goddamn day of my life because that is a lot of what I do.
Every web developer hacks. Then everybody, anybody who or it's an option within the browser. In the menu, view source code.
Google should be jailed.
I think it's F12, right?
Is that the shortcut?
Yeah, it's the shortcut.
He goes, why is he even looking at the source code? Because that's what web developers do. Now it doesn't even matter his intentions. There's nothing illegal about looking at source code. Nothing. If you can find out information in a source code like social security numbers, he's not breaking the law. I mean, he might be breaking the law to use them, but he's not breaking the law to actually look at social numbers if they're in source code. That's not breaking the law at all. That's an error with the web developer who created that site that allowed that info to get out there. It's no different than blasting the social numbers on a bank marquee as you're driving by down the street and seeing them. That's the same thing.
Fun fact, if you know of websites that I have built and set up for people, go take a look at their source code because you might see some fun hidden messages in there.
I used to do that.
I still do that. I love it.
I did that.
It's nothing bad. It's just I love to wait and see how long it takes before somebody's like, hey, did you know this is in your source code?
I had a contest on letsgoblues.com a while back to see who could find a hidden message in the source code. And they had to tell me what it was. So
Nice.
and it was a CMS code, so it was a jumbled mess of other junk in there too, so it was hard to find. But
Right.
yeah. Anyway, the old. I mean, I like old people. Old people can be cool, but when it's all old people running shit,
I like old people too. Look, I join 2 of them on a podcast every week.
If your country is being run by old people, you're gonna have a bad time.
Sorry, boys. Bill, I love you.
Hey,
You're
Jeff.
young at heart. Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Okay,
is that it, boys?
I think we're good to wrap her up tonight.
Good. All right. Well,
I'd say
good
so.
show, boys, and hopefully the Blues will get a couple wins here on the West Coast swing.
Yeah, LA and San Jose.
Yeah.
San Jose is currently winning 4-2 against Buffalo. And the upcoming schedule, they just put up Blues and Kings tomorrow, 9:00 Central, on TNT. It's probably on Fox, probably on Bally's, right? Locally, but nationally, it's on TNT.
It's probably on TNT.
No,
Is it on
it's
TNT?
TNT
Okay.
tomorrow. It is. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
John and
There you go.
Penger said next broadcast from them was in San Jose.
Gotcha. All right.
Nice.
Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation on the tap room. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode. I got 5. That's not right. Episode 8 of season 10 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price, and Jeff is texting something. Okay. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.